Shipwrecks are terrifying things, but they're also fascinating. None of us want to end up as part of a shipwreck, but plenty of us would like to visit one. You don't have to get cold or wet to visit a fascinating shipwreck, though. You can do it simply by watching this video. The latest dive to the Titanic, the first in 14 years, has revealed significant deterioration of the historic shipwreck, highlighting the relentless reclaiming powers of the ocean. Found more than 2 miles below the surface, near the icy waters south of Newfoundland, the RMS Titanic, which sank in April 1912 after colliding with an iceberg, is undergoing an inevitable transformation. The recent exploration, conducted by Triton submarines, allowed researchers to go 12,500 feet beneath the sea to capture unprecedented images and footage of the deteriorating vessel over 5 dives spanning 8 days. This new data, captured using advanced submersible camera systems, will contribute to our understanding of the wreck's condition and aid in predicting how it will continue to degrade over time. The voyage to the depths revealed not just the ship's crumbling grandeur, but also its new role as a sanctuary for diverse marine life. The once majestic Titanic is slowly being eroded by salt corrosion and metal-eating bacteria, a process that is breaking down the physical structure of the ship, allowing it to merge once again with the natural elements from which it was crafted. However, amidst this decay, life thrives. The wreckage now shelters a variety of sea creatures, from fish to sea anemones. Our next shipwreck also attracts a lot of attention from the public, but for a more somber reason. It's the USS Arizona Memorial in Hawaii. The Arizona was famously sunk during the Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor in December 1941, the incident that sparked full-scale American involvement in the Second World War. The memorial was built 20 years after the attack and allows around 2 million visitors each year to get close to the wreck without disturbing it. The structure of the memorial straddles the hull of the lost battleship, but doesn't actually touch it, which minimizes the damage that the visitors do to the site. Since 1989, what's left of the Arizona has been registered as a National Historic Landmark. If you'd like to visit the memorial and pay your respects, you might be best advised to do so sooner rather than later. A large crack was noted on the exterior of the Arizona in May 2018, and although it was repaired, it quickly cracked again. Visits were suspended for a full year after that, and although they've recently been permitted again, nobody knows how much longer the ship will last. The Mary Rose is one of the most famous British ships of all time. It was the flagship of Henry VIII's fleet. That tells you a lot about how old it is because Henry VIII died in 1547. She looks amazing for a ship of her age, and all the more amazing when you consider that she spent most of the past 500 years underwater. After being assembled in 1510, the Mary Rose was the pride of the King's fleet until she was lost in a battle with the French close to Portsmouth Harbor in 1545. That's where she stayed until she was raised in 1982. That was just the start of trying to preserve her, though. For the next several years, the vessel was sprayed with water and wax regularly as a capsule-shaped museum was literally built around her. Finally, in 2013, she was ready to be visited by the British public. She's fully dried out, doesn't require spraying with preservatives anymore, and should last for another 500 years. Many of the artifacts that were found on the ship when it was raised are now positioned around it in the museum, offering a unique insight into life in the Navy during England's Tudor period. The recent expedition to the wreckages of HMAS Sydney and the German raider HSK Cormoran off the coast of Western Australia has offered an unprecedented insight into one of Australia's most poignant naval tragedies. Using high-tech underwater cameras, the team captured stunning imagery of the shipwrecks resting 8,202 feet below the surface, providing a clearer understanding of the events leading to the rapid destruction of both ships during the World War II encounter on November 19, 1941. This mission, a collaboration between the Western Australian Museum, Curtin University, and Kongsberg Maritime, has brought to light the final moments of the Sydney and its 645 crew members, representing the greatest loss in the history of the Australian Navy. The most promising outcome of the survey is the detailed 3D reconstructions of the wreck sites, made possible by the innovative underwater camera systems. These digital models allow for a virtual tour of the wreckage, giving the public and researchers alike a unique perspective on the historical site. The imagery and data collected are set to form the foundation of several exhibitions at the Western Australia Museum, and will feature an upcoming television documentary, ensuring that this significant piece of maritime history is preserved and shared with wider audiences. The launching of the Vasa was a proud moment for King Gustav Adolf of Sweden in August 1628. It was the new flagship of his war fleet, and it was expected to make a telling difference in the king's ongoing war with Poland-Lithuania. His pride didn't last very long. On its very first voyage out of Stockholm, the overweight vessel sank to the bottom of the sea within 20 minutes of leaving port. It was an excruciating embarrassment for the king, because a large crowd of people had gathered to wave the ship off, and they all saw it happen. The ship was found and raised in 1961 and taken to a museum, where further studies have suggested that the sinking was probably the king's fault. He'd ordered 64 bronze cannons to be built for his vanity project, which made the gun deck far too heavy. He also rushed the builders along, resulting in shortcuts being taken and poor decisions being made. All these years later, it's proved to be a treasure trove for archaeologists. Over 95% of the ship's wood survived its long stint beneath the waves, and it's now the only fully preserved 17th century ship in the world. The San Jose Galleon, dubbed the Holy Grail of shipwrecks, is set to be recovered from the Caribbean Sea, a mission prioritized by Colombian President Gustavo Petro. The Spanish galleon, which succumbed to the ocean's depths over 300 years ago, is reputed to house a staggering fortune, with estimates ranging from £3.2 billion to £16 billion, including gold, silver, and emeralds. The wreck, located near Cartagena, was discovered by the Colombian Navy in 2015, having been lost since its sinking by British Royal Navy vessels in 1708 during the War of the Spanish Succession. This recovery effort is not just about treasure. It's enshrouded in a web of legal battles over the rightful ownership of the sunken bounty, with Spain, Bolivia's indigenous Caracara nation, and a salvage company all staking claims. Beyond the invaluable treasure, the San Jose is a vessel of immense historical importance, offering insights into the early 18th century socio-political and economic contexts. With artifacts like intact Chinese porcelain and ancient cannons lying in its hold, the ship's retrieval promises not just a substantial financial gain, but also a significant leap in our understanding of maritime history. On October 6, 1941, the British munitions ship SS Thistlegorm was attacked by German bombers and sank in the Red Sea. The badly damaged vessel was set on fire by the attack and went down when the fire spread to the ammunition store and caused an explosion. Torn in two, it took the Thistlegorm less than a minute to sink, taking all of its cargo down with it. In 2018, German photographer Tobias Friedrich dived down to the wreck and took this picture, which won him the Underwater Photographer of the Year award for 2018. The photo was taken from inside the ship's cargo hold, where we can see a stockpile of Norton 16H motorbikes. Despite the violence of the explosion that sank the vessel, the dozens of motorcycles in the hold are still lined up in perfect formation next to the cars that went down to the bottom of the ocean with them. All of these vehicles, along with uniforms, rifles, steam locomotives, and aircraft parts, were on their way to Alexandria in Egypt when the Thistlegorm sank. It was a hugely expensive loss for the Allies. In May 2006, the American aircraft carrier USS Oriskany sank to the bottom of the Gulf of Mexico near Pensacola after a huge explosion on board. This was no accident or wartime tragedy, though. The sinking was a deliberate act designed to give the old 900-foot-long vessel a new mission as an artificial reef. At the time of the sinking, it was the single largest recycled artificial reef anywhere in the world. The idea behind putting the Oriskany into its new permanent home was that it would serve as a storm breaker. When currents hit the structure, they became stationary waves, trapping marine life that would otherwise be swept out to sea. Just days after it hit the seabed, divers found that it was covered in newborn crabs. Because of its past life as an aircraft carrier, the team responsible for monitoring the effectiveness of the strange barrier liked to call it the Great Carrier Reef, proving that scientists do indeed have a sense of humor. The Oriskany's presence is of benefit to the fishing industry, as well as science. Wherever there's a lot of sea life gathered in one place, there's money to be made from fishing. The SS Sapona, a concrete-hulled cargo ship with a fascinating history, ran aground near Bimini in a 1926 hurricane and has since become an iconic landmark and dive site. Originally constructed during World War I due to a steel shortage, the Sapona's journey from a wartime invention to a Prohibition-era warehouse and then to a nightclub that never was reflects a unique slice of 20th century history. Measuring 282 feet in length with a beam of 46 feet, this ship was part of an innovative but ultimately short-lived experiment in shipbuilding. Post-Prohibition, the Sapona's story took another dramatic turn when it was repurposed for target practice by the U.S. military during World War II, which further contributed to its deterioration. Today, lying in just 15 feet of water, the wreckage provides an accessible and intriguing site for snorkelers and divers, offering a glimpse into the past amidst a vibrant marine environment. The ship has also made cultural ripples, featuring in a horror film and a novel, cementing its place not just in maritime history, but also in popular culture. The MV Cougar Ace, a mammoth Singapore-flagged roll-on, roll-off car carrier, met a dramatic fate in July 2006 while transporting a vast cargo of vehicles from Japan to various locations in North America. During a routine ballast water exchange south of the Aleutian Islands, the ship unexpectedly lost stability and listed severely to port, sparking a high-stakes rescue operation for the 23 crew members on board. The ship was carrying an impressive load of 4,812 vehicles, predominantly 2007 models of Mazda 3s and Mazda CX-7s, estimated at a value of around $117 million. This incident not only marked a significant operational challenge, but also resulted in a significant financial hit due to the cargo's substantial value. Following the incident, a skilled salvage team managed to right and secure the ship. However, Mazda made the tough decision to scrap all the vehicles aboard to ensure safety despite minimal visible damage. This led to the destruction of nearly 4,703 Mazda vehicles, highlighting the significant impacts of maritime accidents on global commerce and the automotive industry. The story of the MV Cougar Ace encapsulates the complex interplay between maritime logistics, safety considerations, and economic consequences. The sinking of the RMS Lusitania was the event that triggered American entry into the First World War. The ocean liner was bound from New York to Liverpool in May 1915 when it was attacked by a German U-boat off the Old Head of Kinsale, Ireland. After being hit by a single torpedo, a secondary explosion happened inside the ship for unknown reasons, and the vessel sank in under 20 minutes. Only 761 of the 1,960 people aboard the Lusitania survived. Most of the casualties were American citizens. Images of the sinking ship were subsequently used in American war propaganda. The American and British governments both declared their outrage over the sinking of a passenger ship. The Germans insisted the Lusitania was a legitimate military target and was secretly carrying ammunition sent to the British by the Americans. The Allies consistently denied this allegation and used the incident to fuel public anger. When the war was eventually over and the wreck was examined, it was found to contain more than 4 million rounds of machine gun ammunition in its cargo, in addition to 5,000 shrapnel shell casings and 3,000 brass percussion artillery fuses. Guess the Germans were telling the truth. In a significant underwater discovery, the wreck of the USS Indianapolis was located on August 18, 2017, by a team led by Microsoft co-founder Paul G. Allen. Lying 18,044 feet below the surface of the Philippine Sea, the discovery of the World War II ship marks the resolution of a long-standing mystery. The Indianapolis is infamously remembered for its tragic sinking in 1945, one of the worst disasters in U.S. Navy history, which saw approximately 800 of the 1,196 crew members initially survive the torpedo attack, only to face dire conditions at sea. The survivors endured dehydration, hallucinations, and relentless shark attacks over 4 to 5 days, resulting in only 316 men being rescued. The USS Indianapolis played a pivotal role in the war, having delivered critical components of the atomic bomb dropped on Hiroshima before meeting its fate while en route from Guam to Leyte. The location of the wreckage was pinpointed following new clues provided by historian Dr. Richard Hulver and an extensive search covering 600 square miles of ocean. The discovery provides closure for survivors and relatives of the deceased, offering a tangible connection to the extraordinary yet somber story of survival and loss. Subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, and enjoy watching new videos on my channel. Thanks for watching, and see you soon!